Hi, I'm Brett Parker, Multimedia Specialist for the National Provisioner. And today we're focusing on the U.S. Poultry Foundation. They've partnered with Penn State University, along with more than a dozen other universities, on grant programs that support the university's poultry science departments and growth of young industry professionals. Here to shed light on this is Barbara Jenkins, Vice President of Education and Student Programs and Executive Director of the U.S. Poultry Foundation. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So, can you tell us about the initial inspiration behind a grant such as the one that you're doing with Penn State?
Sure. So we initially started our foundation, which is now called the U.S. Poultry Foundation, is officially named the Harold E. Ford Foundation. That foundation started out giving recruiting dollars to poultry science schools. As the years went on and those schools started to dwindle or consolidate or take away the poultry science department and degrees, in 2004, we started a program. I'm sorry, in 2009, we started a program where, recognizing that we needed more than just poultry science to run businesses in this industry, we named a grant called the Industry Education Recruitment Funding. And in that application, schools that don't have a poultry science degree or a poultry science department can apply for up to $7,000, as long as they show that their students are being introduced to the poultry and egg industry. So they have to show plausible ways that they connect their students to the industry. Penn State is a special one that gets an additional $3,000 because they do have a poultry science minor. So $10,000 for Penn State. And those dollars are to be used for recruiting only. They're not for student stipends or scholarships or permanent building structures or anything. It's strictly for recruiting students into their departments.
Now, after implementing most of these grants, what do you feel are the most significant benefits students are receiving as a result of this initiative?
Gives them a whole new outlook. I know that Penn State does some outreach into elementary, middle school, and high schools that try to get them into their department. And in doing that, connecting them with the industry gives those students another side or another outlook or perspective on poultry production. So they get to do tours of the industry and that sort of thing. So it does give them a different perspective, which also allows the industry to reach more than just poultry science, because as you can imagine, it takes business students, it takes accounting, it takes finance, it takes just about every job, HR, that you can think of to run a poultry business as it does any other company.
What are the most important facts you wish students to be aware of in regards to the meat industry?
That's a tough one because there are so many. Um, I think if you just do some research, don't just go out there listening to what people say about poultry production, factory farming. That's not who we are. If students would just do some research about the industry, understand that we are an industry that feeds the world, then I think they become more connected to the poultry and egg industry.
That being said, do you find that students and maybe people in general have significant misconceptions about the realities of the meat industry?
Absolutely. Uh, People who don't know us, who don't understand, who didn't grow up in agriculture or rural America, have no clue. They go on the internet and they search something, and because it was on the internet, it is true. So yes, there are a lot of misconceptions in our industry. We try on a daily basis. We work very hard to combat those misconceptions, but we do stick to the science.
Now, what specific professions do you hope graduates gravitate towards the most after college?
There is really nothing to nowhere specifically to state that because as I said, we need everybody. We need all professions to run the industry. Obviously, we need scientists and veterinarians, but we also need accountants and we need HR managers and we need production managers as well. So there isn't one specific that I would say that students should gravitate to because even if your degree is in business, you might end up in live production. Or if your degree is in production or maintenance management, you might someday end up in, HR. So I think it's just a matter of finding somewhere where you are comfortable, getting your feet in the door, and then explore out from there.
Well, if students in school right now wanted to explore more facts and resources about the meat industry, um, what kind of references does U.S. Poultry provide?
Our website is full of facts. It's full of industry information at www.uspoultry.org. There are studies on our website. There are links out to, even for elementary school students, there are links out to different games and resources and videos and things that they can take and play math games or word games or whatever. We've got statistics on our website. There are some training classes on our website. So it is a plethora of information there that they can use to explore.
Well, it all sounds wonderful. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Barbara Jenkins of the U.S. Poultry Foundation, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome and thank you.
And thank you all for watching.